Hi, it is the Human Operating System time. This channel is for education and technology. So in this channel, we investigate into the what, why, how of ancient Chinese culture, which include the ancient Wing Chun culture. And in this channel, we base on solid historical facts or evidence, also with science. Now, in the recent videos, I have cleared out that Wing Chun is not Shaolin Wing Chun, not Tai Chi, not Mei Shi Zhuang, not White Crane from Fujian, by evidence. And also, I have cleared out that Wing Chun is not a creation by Liang Zhan, mixing the Western combat art with Chinese health practice. Again, by evidence. Now, today I like to further clear out on something called internal Wing Chun. And after you watch what I'm presenting today, ask ourselves questions. Do we want to own what is so-called internal, or do we want to live in fantasy? If we want to own the quote-unquote internal content of Wing Chun, then we need to know what, why, how. That's why we can develop it and we can own it. We can develop, we can verify, we can own it. But if we don't know what, why, how, we are living in fantasy. So this is what I'd like to share with you today. Now, before sharing this, I like to share with you also. Many of our friends in Chinese martial arts like to complain that I'm very rigid, or I always like to be right, and I only want things to be my way. So I like to share with everybody, okay, open to the world. For example, if we go to a mechanical engineering class in the university, do you think everybody can talk nonsense in that electrical engineering class or mechanical engineering class? Or one will get kicked out from the class if one talk nonsense. If one is clueless, one will not be able to get into an electrical engineering class or mechanical engineering class, right? That is called standard. One need to know what it is before one talk. So do not expect me to agree, yes, 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 yes. See, I don't care for how many people watch or subscribe my YouTube. I don't care for that. I want to run the entire thing like an engineering class. Only that way you have standard. Only that way we all can learn. To watch my every video, any video, it has to be that after people watch it, then they will feel that, oh, I need to investigate on this. There's the direction I never think before. Only that way it is meaningful. It is not, hey, you watch my video and you feel good and then you can give your 5 cents here and there. Like the other day when people say, hey, you know, Wing Chun is origin from the Western combat art, and it put together by Leong Zhan. So I told them, no, go do your homework. But again, you know, it's just coming like, oh, you want to go your highway, blah, blah, blah. You know what? Seriously? You don't even know Wing Chun if you talk that way. So what is the proof? I tell the entire world, just by watching your shoulder, how you handle your shoulder, one can know whether you know Wing Chun or not. Why? If your shoulder is 10 million miles away, how is that a sticking body short strike art of the ancient Wing Chun? So any sticking body art or short strike art from China, you know that the first thing is going to shoot in with their shoulder. Look at the Western boxing in the old time. I'm not saying that Western boxing is no good, I'm saying it's different, okay? How is the handling of the shoulder? How is the handling of the shoulder of the short strike? Including, you know, as I always show that in the book Wing Chun Matrix, the Shaolin drawing. So without one even know about the shoulder, how is that sticking body short strike Wing Chun or Tip San Tuyến Đá Wing Chun? So get the mind clear, okay? So this is like a mechanical engineering class. One need to know what one is talking about. Nobody in an engineering class will accept nonsense or playing expert. The second thing is about internal. Well, this using this qi, this fa jing. Well, it's very simple. It's like the short strike of Wing Chun. You look at the shoulder handling, you know whether he's going to get in or not. Can he shoot in? Can he fill in? If he cannot handle the shoulder, he will not be able to shoot in and fill in. Don't dropping any name or any grandmaster. That standard is not what I said. That is the Shaolin short strike standard. Okay? The mother art of Wing Chun and all the traditional Chinese martial arts up to General Qi Ji Guang writings, we know that. As for internal, Qi, Jing, and everything, you know what? Don't give me those kind of Fa Jing or mind power. It's very simple to check whether people really have internal development or not in traditional Chinese martial art. You know what is it? Look at their breathing. Look at their breathing. Observe their breathing and see whether they have training in their breathing. Or do they know a way of training? Anybody who keeping talking about this qi, this mind power, this fa jing, I have to do this way, that way, and never ever mention the breathing, how to develop the breathing. He doesn't know. He or she doesn't know internal. Sorry. Again, this is not my definition. This is Chinese definitions. Okay? And all this thing is linked to Anapanasati of Buddhism. And the Taoists took it, the Anapanasati, the breathing training. Even you look at the 6 healing sounds, you need to develop that breathing. Sound is nothing if you don't have that breathing. Because this is that breathing, you activate your internal organs. Using that breathing, which is breathing influence your diaphragm, and diaphragm influence the internal organ. There's the 6 healing sound. We know what it is. So this is really critical, okay? Let's talk what we know. Don't talk nonsense or reading 2 books, or because somebody is an author or somebody have a grandmaster title. Nobody will buy that in any construction company. okay, or incorporation, because what keep that building stand up there under earthquake is not any grandmaster or CEO or anybody, read anybody's book or any author's name. It is physics. If it is not according to the physics, the entire building go down. And do you know how much is the casualty? Do you know how many people will get injured or hurt? Same with martial arts. There is a responsibility there. Okay, if you want to be professional, have a standard, a quality and professional, that is what the attitude need to take. Not all the selling snake oil and all this, oh, I read this book, I'm the author of this book, so big deal, okay? You can write all your fiction, but when you get into the engineering class, you better know what you're talking about. And that is not exclude for me. When I talk something, I present something, I need to give evidence. As in this channel, you all see that, right? So let's get into the internal this, internal that stuff. A few days ago, I mentioned that 3 levels of efficiency, 3 levels of proficiency. And I used judo as an example because judo is in Olympic. And you can see judo being used in today's MMA and so forth. That is the standard 3 levels of proficiency, okay? Please watch my other videos. Okay? Without that 3 levels of proficiency, one really do not have martial art training. Don't kid ourselves. The Chinese martial arts, so-called martial art, quote unquote, most of it today is not martial arts because it doesn't have this 3 levels of proficiency training. Face it, people doing sets, doing form, doing push hand, how is it in the class or the level of the 3 levels of proficiency? That's why you often heard that a judoka will defeat all those internal push hand practitioners and so forth. Even in China, look at that. That's why now when the Xu Xiaodong brought everything up, what can people say? So the problem is, the root problem is that 3 levels of proficiency is never taught or trained or developed in the common quote-unquote Chinese martial arts in a professional way or quality way like the judo. Okay, so that's the reality. Now, so this 3 levels of proficiency is the handling of what? Impulse momentum, right? So we map it up, and we do be able to map it up. It is in the H model of the books Wing Chun Inception, okay? I do this is because I want to map it in. Only we know what the heck's going on, we know what goes wrong, we can fix it. If we don't know what goes wrong, no way we can fix it. It disregards of which grandmaster say what, okay? If we don't know what it is, we do not know how to fix it. So I transfer it to here. Okay, so this is the H model. So the H model, in the H model, we see that the 3 levels of proficiency, which is martial art training, you start with the zone 3, zone 4, zone 5 of the heart rate, your heart rate. So zone 5 is your maximum heart rate. You need to train that way to handle impulse momentum. Okay? Without that, there's no martial art. Forget about it. Okay? Now, what usually people train today in so-called internal art or the Fa Jing stuff or push hand stuff or this technique, that technique stuff. The most is under the 7-ball and force flow handling in the each model. So those stuff is mostly be able to do workout. It's not up to the level of the 3 level of proficiency. Again, you look at that Tai Chi guy who fight Xu Xiaodong, why he get KO so fast? Because when you train here, how are you going to face people who train this 3 level of proficiency? Look at Xu Xiaodong, his proficiency. You know right away you cannot fight because you don't have that training. Okay? And if you want to talk about real internal, that is zone 1 and downward. Zone 1 downward to the deep recovery. And that has to be based on natural deep abdomen breathing. So it's got to be down here. Okay? Now all this thing is well defined. This 2C state is in the Wing Chun matrix, the physiological development, and I give the step to steps how to develop that 2C state or the lower abdomen breathing. In Chinese, this is called Xing Qi. At this state, it's called Xing Qi. At the zone 1 state, this is called Xing Qi. Xing Qi to Dan Tian. This is supposedly for strengthening the body. Why? Because not everybody can do the proficiency, the level 1, 2, 3 proficiency training. You have to be watch out. When our body is not up to a certain health level, physical health condition, we must not touch this. It can cause injury to our health. Okay? That is serious. That's why you have this zone 1. Okay, so this is internal. Okay, from zone 2, this is just a workout. Okay, type of intensity. And when you go zone 1, start your lower abs breathing, and that is for strengthening the body. And then if you can go even lower, which is the deep recovery, that is further strengthening your internal organs, because now you have you can have a lot of oxygens and so forth. Okay, so in the meditations, in those advanced the yoga and all things, strengthen out the body, which now today we can prove it scientifically. Those belongs to here. Those are internal. Okay. So again, in the Wing Chun Inception, what is going on here is presented step by step, including scientific verifications. Okay? So we know that whatever happened here, we can check it with the heart rate variability, with heart rate, with SpO2, whatever here. Whatever on top of here, we can check it with the VO2 max in sports science. And whatever here in terms of strength, we can check it with the force tracking or strength tracking, which today digitizedly we can check it already. So the entire thing can be checked, can be verified with scientific or technology today. Okay? So martial arts, without this proficiency, the 3 level of proficiency training, there is no martial art. Don't kidding ourselves. practice any secret set is not going to get you there. Doing push hand chi sao or this technique, that techniques, or this demonstrations of inch power or Fa Jing is not going to get you there. See, in the past about 100 years, Chinese martial art get into the trap of showing how powerful I can Fa Jing or my inch power. And that got nothing to do with the 3 level of proficiency. That's why you can have all your Fa Jing, like the guy who fights Li Xiaodong, but how many seconds you can last in the real life? It is just disconnect from reality. Because when one keeping thinking all this work out here is martial art, one disconnect oneself from reality, and traditional Chinese martial art today mostly fall into this trap. I say mostly, I'm not saying that everybody, okay? The other day, one friend asked me, so, you know, in Chinese martial art, did anybody who have this 3 level of proficiency, are you real, you know, the Western is better, blah, blah, blah. I said, look at the Chai Lei fight. Look at the Chai Lei fighter. Don't they have that 3 level of proficiency? Okay? So, we learn something not to argue. We want to analyze, like engineering class. Analyze what people do instead of just go sitting down, argue for argument's sake. Who cares for what you think? Nobody cares for what you think. If you don't have that 3 level of proficiency, you drop that. Hopeless. Okay? Because you don't even know what you get in. Now, for the internal, if one do not know the 2C state and the deep recovery, there's no internal. That's why it starts with the breathing. And if you really have that, go check your heart rate variability handling, your heart rate handling, and your SpO2 handling. And if you have better than that training, then you know you're going to improve your VO2 max. If you have that, you have internal. If you don't have that, you don't have internal. Don't BS about it. Now, as for here, the force flow and the Fa Jing stuff, there's a chapter. There's a chapter here. It's called synchronization. It shows how the physical, the breathing, the channel, all how they synchronize into one. Nothing in this world, none of the traditional Chinese martial arts, be you talking about the Taoists from the cave or anything, can go and live out of this chapter 8. Okay? None. Why am I so sure? Because that's the common denominator. Okay? So a proper martial arts, first thing, you need to have the proficiency training of the 3 level. One need to have the synchronization training. One need to get the deep breathing and recovery training, all this. So in this 2C state is called Xing Qi in Chinese term. And that's for strengthening, the beginning of the strengthening. And the deep recovery is the nurture Qi, which is the healing. So this part is the internal, and internal is complete only when you got the synchronizations. No, as what I pointed out there, your breathing, your physical, your meridians. When you can handle that, only when you can handle that, you know that like you already start the engineering school class. Without that, we don't have nothing. So only after this, the proficiency 1, 2, 3 training, one can say that one have field experience. One is trained in the field experience, one have the experience. Without that, what is this? So today we can look at the MMA. MMA do not have this part. and do not have the synchronization part. That's why, well, if you are strong, you can go do MMA. But if you're weak like me, who have diabetic type 1, I'm pushing it that way. No matter what I do, I'm not going to be good. Because my body. So don't get into the delusion saying that, oh, MMA is everything. MMA is not everything. MMA is only the game for those who is healthy. People like me who's not healthy, I cannot play that game. There's sports. And this internal part, one need to be able to really develop it and measure with all this thing. And thus the fudging stuff, you need to know the synchronizations, not just demonstration. Or if you look at all this so-called internal stuff, you look at it, always is the Sifu do it to their student. And then their student do it to their student. What are they? It's just like a magic learning, you know, the magic tricks training. One teacher passed the magic trick to the student, and then the student going down and everybody propagate that magic. So this is the reality. Now, I'm not saying that MMA is not good. I'm saying that it is only for the healthies, the game for the healthy. Who is bigger, who is stronger, who win. And there is no this part to improve that. And the Chinese Qigong today, here, the real Qigong, not those everybody call themselves Qigong stuff, where you can proven here, it is healthy here. But if it doesn't have the training like the 3-level proficiency, like the judo or MMA, then it cannot fight. Face it, that's reality. And if you're just here doing some workout, push hand and everything, then don't call yourself internal, don't call yourself the 3-level proficiency. It is not martial arts. So that's why with the H model, it needs to be this clear. If we are not clear with it, we cannot own it. Sure, we can just doing this every time, fudging, or this set, this ultimate all sets is have everything. What keeping waiting? What anytime will it go down here? No, because you don't know the what, why, how. Can you get up to the proficiency 1, 2, 3? No. That's why when you touch hand with a judoka, you couldn't take it. Look at the records. Look at the records. Okay? And all this chi stuff. By evidence. It can be defined. That's why, because this can be defined, we can check it with this, the scientific stuff. This is the reality. So let's not get into this Wing Chun internal, this mind power, this structure, and the mind power, spine power. Are you kidding? How much can you take with your spine if you do not have that, the deadlift? Look at the MMA people, look at the judoka doing deadlift to strengthen their muscle. If you don't have that deadlift training, how the world or activation of your body muscle, how the world your spine going to do anything at all? Just like standing here, having my hand, I can get my student push me. Do you think that when you get into the ring with the MMA player or MMA friends of us, you can stand a chance for a few seconds? When people training with battle ropes and everything, and they activate the body's muscle, neuromuscular training, and come from all different directions. That's reality. So this is what I'd like to share with you today. All this, everything I share in this channel is targeted like a class, engineering class, so that we all can think. Only we can think, investigate, we can improve. I'm not the God. I'm not perfect. It's like any lecturer in the engineering class. The lecturer is not perfect, but we go through with the thing. And students sometimes can find out that, hey, you know, Hendrik, this is, I think this is having a problem. This equation to this equation always happen in university. So why can one do that? Why can one be like that, have quality and have a professional training, have that level of standards, like the judo? Why is it always reading 2 books, dropping grandmaster names, dropping author's name? Who cares for that in the real world? So this is a reality. So with the H model here, we can find out where we are. And in the Wing Chun Inception, I define here up to the synchronization. So you can look at this is to clearly in detail show what is internal in Chinese martial art or Qigong means. You cannot get away from this book. You cannot. Because the minute you say that you can get away, I say, okay, hook you up with the heart rate variability, SpO2, VO2 max. Let's get into the state of here. See what do you have. If you don't have it, you don't know how to develop it. How are you going to make the claim? How are you going to teach your student? How are you going to make it real? How are you going to face people who develop that? So as I often say, even if I met Xi Xiaodong, I will say, Xi Xiaodong, okay, you are good in here. However, traditional Chinese martial art is here. I know, I acknowledge that you are good in here. Maybe you are the best fighter in here, in China, but this is the Chinese martial art Wing Chun. What you are good at is not imply that Wing Chun is not good. And nobody need to fight you to prove that Wing Chun is better. Why? Because Wing Chun is like engineering, like mechanical engineering. How can I say that, oh, you know, I can better than any professor, that's why I'm better than the mechanical engineering? It doesn't make sense at all, right? Now, on the other hand, in traditional Chinese martial art, it doesn't make any sense at all if one have no idea on what it is. And keeping playing this, oh, Fa Jing demonstrations, I can have this inch punch and thinking that I know it all. Have no idea though, how is this martial art games is playing. So this is what I like to share with you. I know this might be shock to anybody, a lot of people, even grandmaster and so forth. But hey, in engineering class, there's no grandmaster. The basic is basic. You follow Newtonian's law or you're not following. You're not following the Newtonian law, good luck. You cannot levitate, sorry. So the bottom line is that you want to own it, you need to know this. You want to live in fantasy, there's your freedom. But I'm not going to presenting without evidence. This is my way to defend traditional Chinese martial art Wing Chun. Not fighting, I tell you what it is. If I do not be able to have a good development in my level 1, 2, 3 proficiency, that's Hendrik. Got nothing to do with Wing Chun. But this is Wing Chun. But if you never be able to develop all this and know this, and you claim that you are the grandmaster, the king of this, the king of that, and have no idea on this at all, you better know where you stand. And let me tell you, sports science, MMA, is going down here. Today they don't have it, but it's going to go down here. Why? Because they already start to use the heart rate variability for training. Okay? Heart rate variability, be able to check here. Heart rate variability training here. So it is only a matter of time. Because they know how to verify it, they can check it. It is a matter of time only for some MMA talented genius to find out that, okay, I need this type of recovery, I need this type of healing before I can do this. Otherwise, we can get injury and so forth. And like today, people know that if I don't have enough time for recovery, I can injure myself. My performance is not good. So they are moving down. So MMA today is not MMA tomorrow. Today I can say this, okay? It is for the healthy people's game, healthy boys game. But tomorrow, it can be different because they have the heart rate variability verification already. And many of MMA friends is training with that heart rate variability. They know when they are not supposed to train. Because every morning they check their heart rate variability. Okay? So, with the other series and this series, hopefully I clean things for you. Those who don't like to watch my channel, it's okay. Everybody have their freedom. But for those who like to know what is going on with the traditional Chinese martial art, ancient Wing Chun, you have a clear picture. Nobody get out from this, which is I share for these few days. Okay? Why I'm saying that? Engineering school. We are not going to see the building going down because of somebody's screw up. Okay? Only that way we all can progress. Only that way we can make Wing Chun better, keeping improving. We know where we are, we know what need to be doing, we know what other people have. Like today, the judo have the 3 level of proficiency training. Does Wing Chun have that? Obviously it doesn't. How is a straight line, sun punch can defeat everything? How is a structure can play here? You know it can. You know that cannot be handling this thing. You need a solution. And the solution, as what I share here, the ancient have it. But today's people don't have it. So that means you have to take back whatever you have lost or missed.